Go to the hotline. Let's bring in a longtime friend of Dave Campbell's Texas football, a contributor for eons, it seems like, at Dave Campbell's. Longer than I have been at Dave Campbell's Texas football. We go out west and talk to our good friend out in Abilene. We're joined by Al Pickett. Al, how are things in the beautiful big country?
They're gorgeous today. It actually feels like spring instead of a 40-mile-an-hour wind out of the north. It's a wonderful day.
Amazing. You can, of course, see Al or hear Al on Let's Talk Sports on KWKC out there in Abilene. And but we're bringing Al on to talk a little bit about something special that's going on out there. Your book, Brother's Keeper, about the 2009 Abilene Eagles, is being turned into a feature film. I want to first and foremost kind of talk a little bit about the book process. You and Chad Mitchell got together and published this book in 2010 about the Abilene High State Championship. Can you tell us a little bit about the process behind it and why you felt like this was a story worth writing a book about?
Well, this is an interesting story. I had just written Emory Billard's autobiography called Wishbone Wisdom about the coach who invented the wishbone. And it was in January of 2010 after Abilene High had won the state championship right before Christmas in 2009. And Chad called me and said, I got an idea for a book. Chad was the chaplain of the team, local minister. And I said, I don't have time to do a book. I've got a new one coming out. It was actually Wishbone Wisdom was supposed to be out that very week that we talked. He said, well, let's do lunch. So we got together for lunch. And he told me about the theme, Brother's Keeper, that the team had. That was a secret to everybody. Nobody but the team knew it, and it was such a big thing. The kids end up calling it Bro Keep. That was their slang for it. They even have that on their state championship rings. And that theme, and he told me that, and I thought, boy, this is really a good idea for a book. So he interviewed the kids, and I wrote the book, and we self-published it. We didn't even go through a publisher, and we turned it around in 6 months and had the book out in July. So it was really an incredible rapid process and did very well. And then we always talked about, boy, wouldn't it be nice to be a movie someday? And lo and behold.
Yeah, lo and behold, it's being turned into a feature length film with and this is not, boy, this isn't some fly by night production. This is a big time movie going on out there in Abilene with a big time cast. I'm interested in how when you first heard about this being turned into a movie and what your reaction was.
The premiere is a week from Saturday, and I don't know if I'm still in total belief or not. We actually kicked around. We had no idea how to go about a movie, and somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, one of those kind of things, knew about this little independent company in Owatonna, Minnesota, right outside of Minneapolis, that was just starting to do some movies. They'd done a couple things, but nothing big. It's not Hollywood. It's a small independent company. And so we sent him a book. The owner of and he called back in a couple of weeks and said we need to talk. And that took that quick turnaround took about 4 or 5 years, and it took a while for them to get funding and then to find the actors. And what is really remarkable, it's a low budget film, but we ended up with an incredible cast for a low budget film. The biggest name of which, of course, is Lawrence Fishburne of Matrix fame, and Lawrence Fishburne told us that the only reason he was doing that, in fact, he took one day to go to Minnesota and film his part there because he was filming John Wick 3 at the time. He flew there because he loved the script, he loved the message of Brother's Keeper, and so we got him. Coach Warren is being played by I'm drawing a blank on his name now.
Glenn Morshower, yeah.
Glenn Morshower, yeah. And Glenn Morshower, right now, if you watch Fox on Monday nights, he's on the Resident, which is a series right now. He's been in a jillion movies. He was in Moneyball. He was in all the Star Trek movies, and he's usually a policeman or somebody you don't know his name, but you see him a lot of times. You'll recognize his face. And then Chad's part is being played by Milo Gibson, who you may not know Milo. He's just a young actor, but you know his father, Mel Gibson. So, and his wife in the movie is being played by Abigail Hawk, who is, of course, Tom Selleck's assistant in Blue Bloods. So really an incredible cast. And then 4 young kids have the principal characters of the players. And Corey A. White is probably the biggest name of the four. He's playing Herschel Sims. He has a brand new movie out on Netflix called Juanita right now, and so he's an up-and-coming young actor. And there's three other young actors that had the key roles in it. And what they did, Greg, is they filmed all the inside scenes in Minnesota where the production crew was, and then they came here in January and filmed the outside scenes, spent several weeks, filmed some football scenes that shot well. And interesting, let me go back to Lawrence Fishburne. He's playing Harold Christian. Harold Christian was, he was since passed away, owned a barbecue place in town here, and the team ate there every Thursday night. And Harold was famous for singing in his restaurant. He had a wonderful voice. Lawrence Fishburne is singing Amen in the restaurant in the movie. So that's pretty neat. So we're excited about that.
We're talking with Al Pickett here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation. Hashtag TF Today. Brothers Keepers premiering at the Abilene Convention Center March 30th. You can go to eventbrite.com for more information on how to get tickets to that. And you know, I want to ask you a little bit about your role kind of in the production. Obviously, you're a guy who knows this story really, really well. You mentioned that this is a production crew from Minnesota. Obviously, they're passionate about the program or the project, but you know a lot about kind of the ins and outs and how these guys would act. How involved have you been in this production of this movie as far as making sure that this is kind of true to life?
Well, somewhat. I'm in the movie. I'm playing myself. I joked that Robert Redford wanted to play me, but he couldn't play me as good as I could play myself. So Chuck Stadler and I, who were the radio announcers on that team, filmed, and it's kind of an interesting story. We spent 5 hours on the first day they were here filming we had a script, but they had watched all the video of the game. Incidentally, the movie centers around, besides what some of the kids went through and what Chad went through dealing some with the homeless here, it deals around the Cedar Hill game. That was the third round of the playoffs. Cedar Hill was ranked number 1 in the state, number 3 in the nation, and Abilene High upset them 41-17. And that's when the first time we began to believe that this really could be a state championship team. So anyhow, we filmed at Shawwell Stadium in the press box for 5 hours. They filmed it 3 different times. They filmed in front of us and to the left, to the right, and we'd look at the laptop and see on a play whether we were looking on our right or to our left to the end zone, and recorded that. And then the director told me they cut it down to a really good 9 minutes after our 5 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to see the early editions of the script. They continued to be changed, but I'm very confident that they've stayed really true to the story. It has a lot of things in the movie that were not in the book. The book is a chronological story of history of Abilene High football and that season. You can't make a movie that way, and so they focused on several players and some of the trials that they went through, but building around the Cedar Hill game. And so and then what happened the rest of the season will just be kind of an epilogue, but it's really focused on the Cedar Hill game. And they had a stunt crew in from that were on the Marvel movies, and they filmed a number of plays from the game and had actors come in to, extras to come in to play the players. And actually Cedar Hill loaned us 11 helmets and 11 uniforms to use, so we actually have Cedar Hill uniforms as the opponent in there.
And you know, we mentioned that the movie's premiering there in Abilene on March 30th. Eventbrite.com is where you can find information on how to attend the premiere. And then it's going to get nationwide release in the fall. I'm really interested, you know, because you haven't seen the full movie yet. Is that right?
I haven't seen anything.
You haven't seen anything.
I've seen one clip from the inside. They filmed in Minnesota where Chad is talking to the team, and I've seen one tiny clip of Lawrence Fishburne playing Harold in the restaurant, and that's all. I haven't even seen the part I filmed.
So I want to ask you, and it's okay if it's I want to see myself on the big screen, but what is it when you go and watch this movie on the 30th? What are you most excited about seeing being brought to life?
Well, I hope my hope is, and honestly, I don't think I want to see myself on the big screen, but the first time I ever put makeup on. I think I want to see the theme come into really what happens if you are truly your brother's keeper. This was a team that was not the most talented team in the state of Texas. Mm-hmm. They were small. Yet they really the stars were hard workers. The stars cheered for the subs cheered for the stars. They really became a close knit group, and I hope that's the theme of what could happen not only in football but in the world if we really were all our brother's keeper. And I hope that's the theme that comes across from the movie.
He is Al Pickett. He is the author of Brother's Keeper. You can find that on Amazon. Go get it right now. It's an outstanding read, and he's going to get a credit in the upcoming movie Brother's Keeper, directed by Todd Randall. It's premiering March 30th at the Abilene Convention Center. Eventbrite.com is where you can get tickets to that. Al, appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all this wild success, and best of luck at the premiere next week.
Very good. And just incidentally, there's a big gala we have with a dinner before the movie and then a party afterwards with Bucky Covington, who plays in the movie from American Idol, performing. And then for the public at the Abilene Convention Center, the movie will be at 9 o'clock after the first showing at 6:30. And that's your only chance to see it at 9 o'clock until it comes out next fall.
So make sure you get out there if you're in the Abilene area. Al, appreciate your time, my friend. Take care.
Hey, great talking to you, Greg. I appreciate it.
There he goes, Al Pickett, our friend out there in Abilene, the author of Brother's Keeper, about the 2009 Abilene Eagles turning into a feature film. Going to be really exciting. And I know that there was a minute, I want to say, I need to look through my email to get the timing right, but I know that I got the alert. It was like, hey, we're looking for like extras out here in there, and they shot at Shotwell, they shot at the Abilene Zoo, they shot all around Abilene. So this is like this is a full-on Texas high school football movie. It's going to be really exciting to see it premiering at the Abilene Convention Center, and then in the fall it'll get nationwide release. So appreciate Al Pickett hopping on with us.